Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her primary opponent Tim Canova facing off for the first and only time right here on CBS 4 in a congressional race that's drawing national attention. They squared off Sunday morning on Facing South Florida Jim DeFede, and as he shows us, they did not hold back.
Would you both support a ban on fracking in the state of Florida?
I would.
You would?
I think we need to strongly regulate fracking and make sure that we protect our environment in the process.
In their first and only scheduled debate, Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz squared off Sunday against her opponent, Nova Southeastern law professor Tim Canova.
For her entire career, she has raised millions of dollars from the largest corporations and Wall Street banks.
My opponent, wants to run away from the fact that over 90% of the support that he has financially is from people outside the state of Florida.
The two sparred over drug policy, with Canova taking the view that communities should be allowed to decide on their own if they want to decriminalize a drug like marijuana. Canova was asked if that would also apply to heroin or cocaine.
I'll say even hard drugs like that should really be treated as a public health issue. It doesn't make sense to be taking addicts and locking them up and not treating the illness itself.
I think suggesting that legalizing hard drugs like heroin and methamphetamines is not a public health issue by any means.
There's a difference between legalization and decriminalization, and anyone who's been involved in the drug reform movement knows this.
Wasserman Schultz said she still has not made up her mind if she will support the medical marijuana initiative on the ballot this fall. Canova said he supports it. The two went at it again on Social Security, with Canova criticizing her for only sponsoring a bill that would increase benefits for seniors when he began challenging her on it.
She became a co-sponsor in June and July of 2016. That is the truth. You can look it up online. It's right there.
My record is very, very clear, and this is
her record is clear that she.
Argument
it's not
that is completely
to 125,000 senior citizens, to 125,000 senior citizens in Broward County and Miami-Dade who are looking for an increase in their supplemental security income. It's not a silly argument.
Jim DeFede joining us live now. So did Tim Canova do what he needed to do in this debate?
You know, that right there was probably his best moment, was on Social Security. But there were a lot of moments that he let slip by. When we brought up the issue of the emails from the DNC leak, he didn't really capitalize on that issue. He wanted to talk about TPP, and I gave him a question about the economy, and he didn't pivot there quite well. It's sort of the inexperience that comes. If you're not regularly debating, you're not used to this format. Look, anytime a challenger is facing an incumbent, fighting to a draw in a debate is the same as losing for the challenger. You've got to really knock her off her game, and I'm not sure he did that.
It seemed tense at times. What was it like behind the scenes?
Look, make no mistake, these are two people who do not like each other. This is the first time they've agreed to be in a room together. They had met on one previous occasion before he had announced that he was going to run for Congress. So she's done everything she could for the last 4, 5, 6 months to never even mention his name. I'm not even sure, except for a few times saying Tim. She refuses to acknowledge he exists. She made very little eye contact with him even during the debate. It's clear they do not like each other.
How much of this was really a Bernie-Hillary fight? We know that they clearly have their allies.
Well, that's what's fascinating about this. So, of course, you've got Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who has got the support of the White House, President Obama, Vice President Biden. I mean, just think about it. Vice President Biden, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Gabby Giffords. The Democratic establishment have all been down here in the last week or so to campaign for Debbie Wasserman Schultz. What does poor Tim Canova have? Well, poor Tim Canova only has Bernie Sanders and his legion of followers around the country who have pumped nearly $3 million into this race. So this is like a proxy war. The Hillary people who want to punish the Bernie Sanders people want to punish the Hillary people, and as a result, Wasserman Schultz and Canova are the instruments of that.
And I know one of the big issues in this campaign is the Middle East, Israel specifically. We're going to find out more on that at 6 o'clock.
Exactly, and you can find the whole debate online at cbsmiami.com. But yes, Middle East at 6.
Jim, thanks a lot.